I'm at Noyes Thursday Insights. We're going to take a look out through the weekend, yes, but we just got the latest drought monitor, so I want to update you on that. There's been a further expansion of the drought. We'll talk about short-term wind gusts with brush fires and brush fire spread. It is a little bit more volatile weather pattern, which may be more interesting as we get down the line, not necessarily in the short term, and again, that overview on the weekend. So here's the latest drought monitor, just did at 8:30 this morning, and what stands out to me is we have virtually unbroken drought that goes from northern Maine, not just through the rest of New England, but the brown area is drought. Yellow's abnormally dry. The brown area is drought. That goes all the way down through the eastern United States to the Gulf Coast. It also runs unbroken, running out through Chicago, out through Iowa, and look at this, all the way out to the Pacific Northwest. This is a tremendously large area of a connected drought that's been going on because we have been in a repetitive pattern where the storms keep hitting the same place. That's going to change a little, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But notice we now have what is extreme drought across parts of New Jersey. The severe drought is showing up in that deeper brown, and that's going all the way from the mid-Atlantic across the Litchfield Hills, almost all of the Bay State when you get either side of the Mass Turnpike. Less so when you get down to the Cape, mostly because you got some early fall rain that made a difference, but obviously been drying out as well. Brush fires continue to be an issue. In terms of the wind, it's not bad today with the gusts. I think tomorrow the gusts are going to pick up a little bit. They're still not terrible. The fire spread doesn't go crazy across central and southern New England. Interestingly, worst fire spread conditions for tomorrow, Friday, are going to be in the Mount Washington Valley, a wind out of the northwest sloping down over the White Mountains and coming down into the valley. So that gives you a moderate fire spread condition for tomorrow. Other than that, gusts are going to be generally about 20 miles an hour. Precipitation in the last 24 hours, there is a change. And you notice that really for a couple of weeks, the last few weeks, we found the active storm track in the heart of the nation's midsection. That's beginning to shift east, which is why I said in pattern predictions earlier this week, we're closing the gap a little bit here, right? But it's going to take time. You got snow over the last 24 hours in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, the next 48 hours, and then through the weekend as well. That brings more snow. It expands, but it's mostly in the high terrain. Notice all the way down through the Sierra Nevadas, and it's certainly confined to the northwestern quarter of the United States. So what do I mean then when I say a more volatile weather pattern is taking shape? We can plot atmospheric energy. I do that for you sometimes in yellows, oranges, and reds, right? So notice a real energetic disturbance dropping down today. It's moisture starved. It is able to make some rain. And some of that rain's heavy briefly of the mid-Atlantic as this thing comes overhead. But really, a lot of it ends up coming over the ocean where the storm really organizes. It also begins to interact with the storm over Atlantic Canada. And we talked about this over the course of this week, that causes this storm to retrograde, to start to move westward. Not enough to bring us substantial precipitation. Thankfully, also not enough to bring us substantial wind. It'll be breezy this weekend, but it won't be terrible. And again, that's good news when it comes to brush fire spread. Notice by the time we get to Monday, a new disturbance dropping in on top of us, a chance of showers. We'll look at that, and much more energy down to the south and west. You're starting to see more of these strong energy centers coming into play. That's why I say the weather pattern undoubtedly is turning more volatile. I also want to let you know that we're beginning to open things up with cold air. We're seeing a shift from the cold air from Siberia to Alaska, and likely over the next couple of weeks, we're going to see that shift come into parts of northern Canada as well. That's important. We'll talk more about that in pattern predictions coming up on Monday. Plus, I'll try and touch on a little bit more in tomorrow's insights, your Friday insights. It looks out at the weekend. But for now, what's it all mean at the surface? Again, that organization of rain over the mid-Atlantic missing us, the retrograding storm that by the time we get to Friday night and Saturday morning may throw a couple of showers of rain and snow in eastern and northern Maine. The rest of us, look at this, eastern Mass, New Hampshire, might get some clouds to come in Friday night into Saturday morning, but then they reverse course and they move out. Who is this good news for? Anybody with weekend plans. The weekend looks fantastic again. Obviously not going to help out in the drought situation, even as we get into early next week, right? That next disturbance comes in, but look, it's moisture starved. So what do you get? You get a couple of showers on Monday. They really don't amount to much. I can show you how much we think they're going to amount to. It's not going to impress you. I think it's going to be when you put everything together over the course of the weekend. The stuff in eastern Maine for a little bit on Saturday morning, and then you add what comes in for Monday showers. What do you have? A couple hundredths of an inch of rain? That's probably it, unless something significant changes, which we don't expect it to. So in that case, I guess what we'll focus on is the day-to-day in terms of heading into your weekend. Friday, expect to find temperatures in the 50s. The wind is going to be out of the northwest. We talked about the greatest fire spread concern being in parts of northern New England rather than southern New England, but obviously the brush fire danger is still elevated for everyone because it's been so dry. Friday night down to the 30s. Saturday, you're going to be running about 55 to 60 for most of us, a little bit cooler in the north. Still that breeze out of the north and northwest. And that's the thing, with that storm retrograding through Atlantic Canada, it does keep a little bit of a breeze going. Saturday night down to the 30s and 20s, and then Sunday likely near 60, and still, surprise, surprise, that northerly and northwesterly wind around the backside of the storm center. Monday is the day that we get those couple of showers that slide in. Temperatures likely to be near 60 degrees or so. You can look out beyond that. You'll see that next disturbance we looked at coming in with an elevated chance of rain next Thursday on our Noyes 1 degree outside weather app on the App Store and Google Play. I'm just not convinced how much rain is going to actually be associated with those showers when they come on through. But again, at least we know the pattern is turning more volatile. I'll say this as a closing remark, which not all of you watched till the end of the video, but if you did, you get the closing remark, which is I have not seen New England drought that lasts all the way, let's say, as long as it would have to be through the winter and into the early spring, which tells me we are going to end up making up for this most likely. Will we make up for it in terms of snow or in terms of rain? We'll see, but chances are very good in my humble estimation, and speaking anecdotally from years of experience, that we very well may find a very active storm path around here as we start to get deeper into the midwinter. But we'll see. That's how things look for now. We'll keep you posted and see you always with updates at 1degreeoutside.com and on our app home screen.